Hello everyone, Russ of Aquariumax Pets here with an unboxing from Pedro's Pods. Nice big box. Oh, very cool. It looks like there's some stickers here from Pedro's Pods. Let's check it out. Start out with that. Oh, I like that. I'm having trouble focusing on it, but I like it. There it goes. Pedro's Pods. That's cool. Several sets like that. Those are fun. He sent a letter too. It's very cool. And he also mentions that he sent some extra stuff in there as well. I think that's more for me. Um, Very kind of you, Pedro. And I am glad I helped get you into the hobby, it sounds like. So that's awesome. So let's look at this. So one of the things he sent was the 6-quart starter kit. And this is looking pretty sweet, I gotta say. Got vents already in it. I like that. See, it's got the side vents over here, the top vents over here, and over here there aren't any vents so that you could have a humidity gradient. And I don't know if that's picking up on the camera, hopefully it is. But in here, there's some fine mesh in there too. Help keep the wrong critters out and the right critters in. And just, I'll point this out, this kind of lid makes it a little more difficult for isopods to escape when it clamps down and has a tight, there's not like a foam gasket in here, but the surfaces touch more tightly than they do in some containers. It makes it a little harder for them to escape, which is good. Because as I've mentioned before, isopods can't climb smooth, clean plastic, but they can climb dirty plastic or wet plastic or scratched plastic. So not that we want to let our containers get to that point, but it can sometimes happen. So here, I'm going to look at each part of this. This is a deluxe kit. I like it. So it's got the biodegradable packing peanuts in there. Here is the substrate. Look at that. It's got all the ingredients listed. Awesome. So could be used by isopods and millipedes. And I like how it mentions to add springtails before your isopods. Excellent. Looks like we've got some cuttle bone in there as well. And when I was going through the kit to put it together, I noticed that it also contains food and additional calcium sources with the little feeding spoon as well. So really is a complete kit as you have the supplemental food along with it. And magnolia pod, heat treated, safe to use, great for hides and botanical decor. And some isopods really like to nibble on them too. But they do make excellent hides, I agree. 100%. And just more structure for them as well. And then the other things that I dropped as I was getting those out. We've got some sphagnum moss, free of sticks and spikes, carefully hand sorted for quality. Awesome. Some additional oak leaf litter. Awesome. And then cork bark. And notice that this has a really nice undersurface, slightly concave. A lot of isopod species really appreciate that slight concavity. Some like more of it, but in general, this is great for most of the smaller species of isopods. Just the really big ones, in most cases, that need a deeper concave surface. So this is great for 6-quart. Packing paper. Looks like I need to get my safety cutter out for for that too. Some extra sphagnum moss. Pedro mentioned in the letter that he knows I always am in need of sphagnum moss. It can be hard to get a hold of. I like that it has the ingredients here. Or sorry, not the ingredients, the instructions for how to get it moist and some extra information about it. So that's awesome. And last, not even last. I was going to say last but not least, but it's not last because I'm going to do what's in the other container. Last, the large kit, the 16 quart. I think this is the 16 quart. We have the larger vents, again with the mesh, and then some smaller vents on the side, and then the other side for the moist area. So some cork bark sheets, and there are several of them in here. They have the nice concave, slightly concave surface, and there are plenty of coverage there for this enclosure. Look how many sheets there are in there. Looks great for this. There's 2 bags of them, so you can really stack the hides up. That's awesome. Oh, there's another bigger one there, so can't overdo it. I can never have enough cork bark. And then isopod substrate, correspondingly larger bag as one would expect. Awesome. Some more cuttlebone. This one comes with some food, it looks like, as well. Sweet. Looks like there's some probably ground eggshell, some pellets, some flakes, and then this is powdered, probably some powdered calcium. Sweet. Another one of the same here. I like how the sticker is on these. I'm probably going to put one of these stickers on each of these enclosures so I remember where I got them. I usually also put it on the label where the source of, well, I put the source of the isopods on the label, so I'm going to put this as the source of the enclosure. That would be cool. And then more oak leaf litter, more sphagnum moss. Very cool. So I'm going to set these enclosures up. So I really think the best way to do this kit justice is to set it up right here along with you. You can see what's going on. So I'm going to start with the moss. I've hydrated this moss already in the bag. You can do that in a separate container, or you can do it once you put it into the container. What I have done is added some water, let it soak for a little while, and then I squeezed it out so that it's not super saturated. That's how I like to do it. It's not the only way to do it, but it's the way you can do it. And there we go. So we've got the mossy side, the hydration station, away from the vents so that it stays hydrated longer. Works out better that way. Here goes the base substrate. Looking good there. Remember all those goodies that are in there. Things like compost and oyster shell for calcium, the sphagnum moss for moisture retention, all kinds of goodies in there. Now we're going to put some of the leaf litter in. There we go. And I forgot to grab some damp, digested leaf litter I have in my shed outside. I should have grabbed some of that. I forgot to do that, but that's okay. Can always add that later. Here's the magnolia pod. Found that my isopods really like, not only, like I said, they climb on them, but also some of them will eat them over time. And that nice piece of cork bark. I'm going to put it right here. With the isopods have a moisture gradient. I'll take a piece of this cuttlebone, a couple of pieces of the cuttlebone, put them in there, over here on the dry side. I'm not going to add any food yet, but I am going to add springtails. All right, here I go. Got a couple dozen springtails here. I'm going to add them to the moist side over by the moss. A couple more stuck in there. Don't want them to desiccate. Let's take a closer look here. Yeah, those springtails will do great in there even without supplemental food for quite a while, because there's plenty in this substrate, and there will be spores and so on that land in here too, and bacteria that start to grow and everything. So they'll be okay for a while. Once I do need to start feeding them, it'll be about the time to add isopods. So I'm going to let this go for a while before I add isopods. But I think that looks beautiful. Thank you very much, Pedro. Excellent enclosure setup, I think. Now, I'm going to customize it a little bit here. I'll never forget where the enclosure came from. I'll put one on this end as well. Right here. And I'll put the species label and the established date and everything once I decide which isopods I'm going to put in there. And here's the last thing in the box. Let's check it out. I saw this on the website and I thought, oh, that looks interesting. I got to check that out if I can. I will put a link, of course, to Pedro's pods in the description. I think I may have already mentioned that, but there you go. I like that. I've used the plastic enclosure this one is based on, but I really like how nice and clean the vent holes are drilled in here. Plenty of cross ventilation and top ventilation here. You can do well with a lot of isopods that require a lot of ventilation when you have this much. That looks nice. Right here, there's a little bit more ventilation up at the top, right there. So I'll have fun deciding which one's going in there. But like I said, with that ventilation, a lot of options. You don't have to stop with isopods. There's a lot of other creatures that could do well in a container like this too. So you will be seeing a video in the future with this enclosure and what I decide to keep in it. Thank you so much to Pedro of Pedro's Pods. There'll be a link in the description so you can check out Pedro. Please also check out a link to my Patreon if you want to help support the channel. And thank you so much for watching. I post videos every Friday with live streams once a week as well. Please feel free to share, rate, comment if you haven't already. Subscribe. And then tap the bell for all notifications so you don't miss my next video.